Hi everyone. Shall we begin? Let me just make sure that everything is working properly. Mm-hmm. Making sure that everything is working properly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start. Last time,
Recording in progress.
I'm sorry, I need to mute somebody. Mm-hmm. Last time, in the podcast, why you are in your head, um, during intimacy, we talked about something that many women silently experience. Like you are physically present in the moment, right? In the intimacy moment, but mentally making I don't know, grocery list or replaying conversations or worrying how you look or wondering if you are doing enough or simply feeling disconnected, right? Because during intimacy, every single thought that you have is disconnects you from the experience, disconnects you from your body. Um, and it's not helping, like intimacy, it's not helping your relationship, it's not helping you with everything, right? And you question yourself too. And many women after last webinar walked away thinking, wait, maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I am just overloaded. And today I want to go deeper into the subject. And I am going to share some slides with you so you can see. Today I want to go deeper because women are not just losing desire altogether. Many women are losing connection to their femininity entirely, which is scary. Not femininity. I'm not talking about femininity as a performance. It's not a performance. It's it's not femininity as dresses, makeups, soft voices, or Instagram aesthetics. I'm not talking about this. I mean the ability to soften, the ability to feel yourself and situation and just feel what's happening, to receive, to trust, to relax inside yourself, and to experience pleasure, creativity, play, some desires, magnetism. When you look at the woman, and she may not be, extremely beautiful, but there is a charisma and magnetism inside of her. So I'm talking about all of it and aliveness. Okay? So what's fascinating is that many women, they don't even realize that it's happening, that there is no um, there is no femininity. Well, they just say, when you talk to them, they just say, well, I feel tired, I don't want to, what is it, I don't want to feel anything else, or I feel irritated, or I don't feel attraction anymore, or I don't know who I am, right? Especially women who delivered few children within a very short period of time. Sometimes they don't even, they don't know who they are anymore. Or I can hear, I love him, but I feel numb. Or you can hear, well, I feel more like a manager than a woman. And the modern relationship, in many cases, they contribute into this. They are not helping, they contribute into us losing femininity. But today we're not going to blame men. And it's not about romanticizing the past. It's not about this. Today we are going to talk about something else. And we're not going to talk about any of those two things, but we are going to talk about what happens to the female nervous system in modern life and modern relationship, and why so many women feel emotionally dry, exhausted, disconnected from their own bodies, and not only disconnected, but they are unable to access softness anymore. They almost lost an understanding. What is it to be soft? What does it mean? How is that? Okay, so let me start here. Femininity is not a personality trait. It's not. One of the biggest lies online right now is that there is an idea of femininity as is just aesthetics. Like femininity, if you are feminine, like if there are silk pajamas, if there are slow motion videos, or lip gloss, or candles, or I don't know, speaking softly while drinking matcha latte thing, or something like this, right? Which is funny, but that is all branding. It's not embodiment, it's all branding. But the real femininity is nervous system ability. That is a real femininity. And woman feels feminine when she feels safe. When she feels safe enough to feel, to express herself, to receive, to rest. How many of you allowed yourself just rest, lay down and rest? No, because you have this voice in your brain that you need to get up, you need to do this. Why did you lay down? You have a lot of things in the kitchen, in the bedroom. Get up, don't be lazy, and so on and so forth, right? So Femininity is when you have ability to open, to trust yourself, to trust your body, to experience desire, to even allow yourself to notice this desire. Okay? Because it's all happening. But we are so stressed that we are not feeling safe to stop and acknowledge and feel it. And a chronically stressed nervous system cannot stay embodied. So if this is true, how we can be feminine if we are constantly stressed? And modern women are not lightly stressed. They are biologically overloaded. And this is not a joke. It is what it is nowadays. Modern females are overloaded. For example, I'm sure you have your examples, but I do know women who wake up, and the moment they wake up, they start mentally working. They check messages before their eyes even fully open. Who has it? I'm sure you or your friends. You didn't even get up from the bed. The first thing that you did, you check your mails or something, right? So they, they plan everything. They remember birthday. They remember schedule appointments, right? They handle children's appointments and play date or whatever children have. Okay, they manage finances. They regulate everyone emotionally, because one is yelling because he is crying, he is 5, and another is yelling because he is 45 or 55, but he is tired, or 35. So how are you doing it? A female emotionally regulates. Okay, so they work, right? They perform. They trying to look good, right? You need to respond quickly to everything that is happening. Messages, emails, asking, whatever, you name it, right? She needs to be on top of everything, right? They need to be productive. They need to stay productive. They need to stay emotionally available. And then at night, when she expected suddenly become mysterious or soft or sensual or playful or deeply erotic, her nervous system says like, hey ma'am, we survived 14 meetings and emotional warfare today. Best I can offer is dissociation. And we expect from our nervous system something else, right? And women think at this point, oh, what's wrong with me? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. You're absolutely fine. Okay? It's your body that is adapting. So you're fine. And many women today, they are living in chronic survival mode. And survival mode often activates hyper masculine energy. Not because masculinity is bad, no, but because control becomes necessary. It becomes necessity for her daily. So when a woman feels unsupported emotionally and unsafe relationally, or overwhelmed by life, she naturally shifts to management, control, monitoring, anticipation, performance, and problem solving. So she becomes the planner, the fixer, the emotional container for everyone else. And over time, she stops being inside of herself. She stops inhabiting herself. She becomes functional, highly functional, instead of alive. Okay? You know, a woman can become so good at surviving that she no longer knows how to relax into just being. Isn't it a tragedy? I think it is. You know what's heartbreaking? Some women can organize an entire household, support everyone emotionally, build a career, help friends through crises, and still panic when someone asks her, "What do you want?" Because desire requires connection to self that is missing. We're not longer having these connections. And many women were trained to disconnect from themselves very early. Okay? So, why relationship kill feminine energy? Well, this part can be challenging for people because many women think, well, if I am in a loving relationship, femininity should naturally happen. Not necessarily. Some relationships slowly shut down feminine energy. Slowly. Not at once, but slowly. They will. So a woman cannot soften where she feels emotionally unsafe. So if her relationships are unsafe, then the result will be no femininity, right? So an emotional unsafety, it's not only abuse. We are not talking only about about like physical thing. It can look like criticism. It can look like emotional inconsistency. It can look like she needs to walk on eggshells because her partner ABCD, you name it, right? Or she feels unseen, or she feels emotionally alone, or never feeling prioritized. Also constant tension, dismissal, mockery can be, or when she feels that her emotions are too much for the other side. It's all lead to this emotional unsafety that she feels. And the female nervous system closes under chronic emotional tension immediately. Okay? So, for instance, She starts censoring herself. She overthinks. She analyzes every conversation. She becomes careful instead of expressed. Okay? And eventually, desire disappears. That's how it works. Because desire needs freedom, not fear, not, like shrinking. It needs air, it needs freedom, it needs, something lighter. And when you are in stress or when you don't feel safe, you're losing it. Another part can be when a female become mother instead of partner. One of the fastest way for women to lose attraction is when they are unconsciously become the emotional mother in a relationship. She is managing him, she's reminding him, she is regulating him, she is motivating him, she is monitoring his basic responsibilities. That's it. And then society asks, why did the spark disappear? Yeah, you tell me why it disappeared. Because polarity dies when one person feels, like the 14th time where the laundry, like when somebody asks you, like, where the laundry basket is, thousands of times. I don't feel like being feminine after that kind of question after like 30th time. I just wanna, I wanna just yell. Okay? So another reason is overfunctioning. Many women were conditioned to earn love through usefulness. It starts usually in a very young age. When we are little girls, a lot of, like sometimes you could hear, like, don't stand there, just do something, help, like, do something, be useful. So this is how a lot of female become, they grew up with an idea that they need to be useful. And your nervous system never rests. If you have this somewhere in you, you become needed all the time, but not nourished, needed. Okay? But being needed is not the same as being cherished. Just think about it. Being needed is not the same than being cherished. We think that if you are needed, then you're cherished, but it's not. And many women have relationship where they are extremely needed, but deeply untouched emotionally. Okay? So women often think, well, I lost my femininity, but many times they lost access to sensation. And this regulated nervous system prioritizes survival over pleasure. So when the body is stressed, blood flow changes and hormones changes and tension increases and hypervigilance increases. The body basically stops asking what feels good. It starts asking what keeps me safe. And of course this affects sexuality, creativity, playfulness, flirting, curiosity, emotional openness. It's gone at that point. This is where some women say, well, I love my partner, but I feel numb. I want intimacy, but I don't feel anything. I feel disconnected from my body. Not because you're cold, not because they're cold or they are broken. No, it because exhaustion disconnects women from sensation, and this is very important. Okay, social media is not helping. Okay, we also I want to talk about social media because many women today are performing femininity instead of experiencing it. They put gloss on lips, like they do candles, they do something else, but it's a performance, it's not femininity. Okay, and what comes from social media, it's look feminine, sound feminine, heal femininity, manifest femininity, like rest femininity, even suffer femininity. Okay, so you can just put this basic word to every single other word that is out there. This is what we see from social media. And meanwhile, many women are quietly anxious, lonely, and exhausted, overstimulated, emotionally starved, and disconnected from themselves. This is what they see. You can look feminine online while feeling completely abandoned inside yourself. This is what I see all the time. And this creates shame because women think everyone else seems so radiant on a screen. They seem so beautiful, so fabulous. Okay? Why do I feel irritated and numb? Because real embodiment cannot be faked to the nervous system. But everything that we see from social media is not what it is. Okay? Those people, in many cases, they are completely disconnected. Okay? Another part that I want to talk about is while strong women struggle to feel feminine, you would think that, okay, they got it all, but yet they are struggling. Okay? Not often, but in many cases, strong women are deeply tired women. As I said, not often, not always, but often. Okay, many women become strong because they had to. They have no support, they have no emotional safety, they have no room to fall apart. Okay, they have no reliable protection, they have no one emotionally attuned to them. So strength becomes their identity. The problem starts when survival becomes personality. And this is a very fine line. In nowadays, I see it a lot when women are losing the bigger picture of who they are. Because softness becomes dangerous. Receiving feels uncomfortable. And rest creates guilt. So dependence feels unsafe, even though it should be absolutely normal. Vulnerability feels humiliating. And so even in good relationship, the body still braces. She says, I want intimacy, but when someone gets close, she tightens internally. Okay, have you had it? Have you experienced something like this? Because closeness activates old survival patterns. So, what actually helps women feel feminine? What can help her to feel feminine again? And this is the important part. Femininity does not return through forcing it. You cannot force it. Not through just relax, not through just surrender, or just be in your feminine energy, meditate, whatever. The advice can actually shame women more if you tell them just relax in your femininity or just relax. No. What helps? Safety. The nervous system softens before the body opens. Emotional safety, relational safety, financial safety, internal safety, not perfection, enough safety. It has to be enough safety. Then, second, less performance. A woman reconnects to femininity when she no longer has to perform worthlessness. Okay, so not proving, not earning, not overgiving, not shape shifting, none of it. Okay, none of it. Third, returning to your body. Many women live from the neck up. They don't feel anything down. Okay, so they are thinking, analyzing, planning, monitoring, all kind of stuff. But femininity is sensory. You sense things, and it's not from neck up. No, you cannot think yourself into embodiment. You can't. You have to feel again. So now I want you to ask few questions that I want you to ask yourself. When was the last time you feel deeply relaxed? Think about it. When was the last time? When was the last time you touched your own body without criticism? Inner criticism. When was the last time pleasure existed without productivity attached to it? When? Okay? When was the last time when you weren't managing everyone emotionally? When you were just yourself? Another part that can help is grieving. Yeah, that part is surprising, but you will be very surprised that sometimes women don't need motivation. They just need grieving. They need grief, and that's it. Grief for years of over functioning, years of self abandonment, relationship where they disappeared, or becoming everything else for everybody else. Okay, but living disconnected from themselves. That is part of grieving, because grief often unlocks feeling again, which is very important. And I don't believe um, I don't believe women are becoming less feminine. I don't believe in it. I think women are becoming more exhausted and more overstimulated, more emotionally unsupported, and more disconnected from their bodies. And many women are trying to heal with information while their nervous system are starving for safety, because again they're going from here up, they're not going from here down. Information, like, is here. The goal is not becoming some perfect feminine woman. No, it's not. It's not the goal. The goal is feeling alive inside yourself again, which a lot of women just lost. And this is exactly why I created programs around embodiment, nervous system, safety, intimacy, and returning into the body. I will talk later, but this is exactly what my program 14 days program back into the body is about. Okay? Many women, they don't need more pressure to fix themselves. They don't need that. They need a safe space to reconnect with themselves again, not through force, not through performance, not through pretending to be feminine while feeling exhausted inside, but through slowly rebuilding safety in the body, reconnection to sensation, trust in themselves, and the ability to feel alive again. But through slowly rebuilding safety in their body, reconnection, trust themselves. So over those 14 days, we move through grounding, we move through nervous system safety, we move through reconnection to the body, softness, without losing boundaries, desire, feminine embodiment, pleasure without pressure, and intimacy without performance. I'm sorry. It is not about becoming someone else. It's about finally coming home to yourself again. Because many women don't need more self-improvement. They need reconnection, not performance, no pleasure, just simple reconnection. Okay? And now I'm going to read few questions that I got, and I'm going to answer on those questions. Can you feel feminine while single? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because femininity is not something a man gives you. It's not activated by relationship status. A lot of women secretly believe if I feel soft, radiant, desired, connected, once someone loves me properly. No. A lot of females, they are in a relationship, but they feel deeply disconnected from themselves. And many single women feel deeply embodied, alive and sensual and creative and relaxed and magnetic. Why? Because femininity is not created by male attention. It's created by relationship with yourself. Your ability to feel safe in your own body, experience pleasure, express emotions, create, play, trust yourself, be connected to sensation. A relationship can support that or destroy that. Yes, but you are not being feminine because of relationship. And sometimes women actually reconnect to femininity more deeply while they are single, because for the first time they stop. They stop performing. They stop caretaking. They stop managing. They stop proving. They stop adapting. And sometimes solitude is where the nervous system finally exhales. It's what it is. Next question. What if I love my partner but feel numb? This is one of the most painful experiences for women, because they immediately assume, if I feel numb, something might be wrong in a relationship or with me. Sometimes yes, but not always. Numbness is often a protective mechanism. So the nervous system shuts down sensation when there is chronic stress or emotional overload or burned out or pressure or lack of safety. What else? Constant responsibility or years of disconnecting from your own needs. A woman can deeply love her partner and still feel emotionally disconnected from herself. It's possible. Love and nervous system availability are not always the same thing. Sometimes women are waiting to feel desire again, but they are still living in survival mode while they are waiting for it. It's not going to happen. It's like asking, like a phone on 2% of battery to run 10 applications at once. What's going to happen? Well, at best, it's going to give you a white, like screen at best. At worst, it's just going to shut itself off immediately, right? Another important truth. Many women don't lose desire suddenly. So they lose themselves slowly. Tiny moments of self-abandonment, tiny moments of emotional loneliness, tiny moments of overgiving, tiny moments of not being met emotionally. And that's it. And eventually the body says, I cannot stay open like this anymore. Not as punishment, as a protection. So that's why you can feel numb. How do childhood patterns affect femininity? Deeply, very deeply, because femininity is heavily connected to safety, receptivity, emotional expression, and embodiment. So if a girl grows up feeling unsafe, criticized, emotionally ignored, um, petrified or unseen or shamed or unprotected or responsible for everyone else's emotions, she often learns very early that it's not safe to relax, or I cannot relax. So she becomes hyper aware, hyper independent, hyper responsible, emotionally self protective. And people later call her strong. That's how we do it right now. Strong. She's strong. No, she needs help. She's not strong. But many strong women are actually armored little girls. They're not even, like women. They're armored little girls. Because they are on a battlefield. And it's not safe. Okay? Those are the women who learned I cannot rely on myself. Those are the women that learn my needs are inconvenient. If I soften, I'll get hurt. If I stop performing, I will lose love. And then adulthood relationship activates those patterns and those fears. And suddenly, intimacy feels exhausting, receiving feels uncomfortable, trust feels dangerous, and need feels shameful. And here's the important part, this is not weakness, this is adoption. The nervous system always chooses survival before softness. So it's absolutely normal. Can burnout shut down attraction? Absolutely. 100%. Burnout affects far more than energy. If it affects biology, hormones, nervous system, regulation, emotional capacity, and sensation itself. All like it affects all of it. And burnout women often lose libido, curiosity, playfulness, creativity, patience, romantic energy, fantasy, desire for touch. Those women, they don't want to be touched. Not because they stop loving, no, because her body is depleted. And modern culture often misunderstands this. Women are told, try harder, spice things up, be more feminine, communicate more, something else. Meanwhile, her nervous system is screaming, I need recovery. You cannot force desire from exhaustion. Desire grows in space, in safety, in rest, in emotional connection, in aliveness, not in chronic depression. And honestly, sometimes what women call low libido is actually high exhaustion. Very simple. I am seeing it all the time. Why do I feel guilty resting? Well, because many women were unconsciously taught your value comes from usefulness. So rest feels unearned. You rest physically, but mentally you are still working. Thinking, monitoring, planning, feels responsible, doing all kind of stuff. Not because rest is wrong, because the nervous system activates associates stillness with danger or shame. Okay, so especially if love in childhood was connected to achievement or helpfulness or caretaking, being easy, being more productive, or being emotionally convenient, that then rest feels selfish. And this becomes tragic because the woman slowly loses access to restoration altogether. She knows how to function, but now she doesn't know how to replenish. And eventually the body forces the pause through burnout. It's illnesses or numbness or anxiety or depression or emotional collapse even. The body always collects the bill eventually. Always. Always. I have a few questions, but I started to cough, and I don't want to continue do that, and I would love to talk about these questions, but maybe I will put them in the next podcast. So what I want to finish is with, maybe the real question is not how do I become feminine. Maybe the real question is what happened that made me leave myself in the first place. Because most women are not disconnected because they're failed. Most women are disconnected because they adopted, they survived, they became who they need to become to get through life, relationship, pressure, disappointment, responsibility, heartbreak, overstimulation, loneliness, you name it. And at some point, survival become normal. But there is a difference between functioning and truly living. A difference between being admired and actually feeling loved. Between being needed and feeling cherished. Between looking feminine and feeling alive inside your own body. And I think many women are tired, not only because life is hard, they are tired because they've been carrying themselves alone emotionally for too long. So if you live tonight with one thing, let it be this: your softness is not gone. Your femininity is not broken. Your body is not betraying you. Very often, your nervous system has simply been protecting you the best way it knows how. And healing is not becoming a different woman. It's slowly becoming safe enough to return to woman who was always there underneath the survival mode. Not perfect, not always soft, not endlessly giving, not performing femininity for approval. No, but connected, alive, present, able to feel again, create. And that is exactly why I created my 14-day program, Back into the Body, where we learn to create a safe space to reconnect with ourselves through slowly rebuilding safety in the body, reconnect to sensation, trust in ourselves, and the ability to feel alive again with zero force. Remember, this is not about becoming someone else. It's about finally coming home to yourself again. So if tonight something inside you whispered, I miss myself, maybe this is your invitation to begin returning. And this is the program that I was telling you about.